This podcast is brought to you by Meteorate.
Welcome to the Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs podcast, where every fortnight, your hosts, Adam Shepherd and Natasha Price, take a long, hard look at the world through the eyes of two people who believe in grabbing life by the balls and squeezing tighter than Borat in a mankini. The good, the bad, the often cringeworthy, but most importantly, the hilarity that can, and often does, ensue. If you're looking for fluffy sunshine and rainbows, My Little Pony meets Care Bears type of purity, you've probably come to the wrong place. If you're after good conversation, warped humour, quick wit, a touch of sarcasm, two proud people with disabilities with the no holes barred, leave no stump unturned outlook on life, welcome home. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good,
so
good.
we just like so and all of a sudden
all over the place, a little bit crazy, and then it's like calm, be professional, kinda.
It's like you weren't just together out there.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know.
We say that every week. It's like, what have you been up to? What have you been up to? Well, I don't know.
The
We spent the entire time together.
The same bloody thing as you. The exact same thing.
You were there.
Yeah.
So we will introduce our guest, Lindsay, my God, surname, Julie Lindsay, in just a moment. But how's your week been, Ads?
Week's been good. I got to, I don't know about you, but I got to spend it in tropical North Queensland.
Yeah,
so.
I know. We got to spend it in tropical North
We
Queensland.
did.
And the tropics certainly boarded on for us again.
Yes.
It gave us lots of rain.
I had to wear a jumper. How fucking tropical is that?
Know, right. It was cold.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was hot, then cold, then hot, then cold. It couldn't make its mind up.
I think it was it was warm. The temperature was warm. I think it was the Arctic breeze.
Yeah,
that
I
blew
know.
in.
It was
And the rain is the
fucking horrible.
downer.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
It would be beautiful and sunny and blue skies, and all of a sudden start pissing down rain. It's like, what is this?
That's
like,
Cairns.
yeah. And like, we're not. It's not even the rainy season, is it? Like,
Yeah, it's
no.
supposed
I
to be
think so.
nice and dry.
Oh, is it?
I feel like it's just always raining up there.
Yeah.
Well, it does.
Because
It
it gets
does.
hot.
This is true. This is true. But yeah, it definitely wasn't really much warmer than here on the Gold Coast. So yeah, it was
Cairns
very
Marathon
strange.
Festival, though.
Yeah, fantastic event.
That was so cool.
It
Thank you,
was.
Atlas team. You
Thank
guys
you,
rock.
Atlas. It's another great event. Oh my God, I can't talk today.
Invent.
I invented
Event.
Event. It was
The
a
event-
wonderful
The
event.
advent of the event. Oh,
Okay.
Jesus. All right.
I feel like this show is going to go to shit.
Do you guys ever bicker?
Oh yeah, constantly. As all we do.
This is
Poor-
just all for the show.
Yeah, no. Poor bugger has to deal with me constantly. Of course we bicker.
Jesus. Fight with you. No, I fight with my own wife.
Yeah, I know.
My
But you
wife
spend
and I don't fight because I take it all out on you.
Yeah.
exactly.
You're the work wife.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
work
spend
wife.
far more time together. That's the problem. If Christy had to put up with you 24/7, she probably would too.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Take him. Take him.
Please.
Yeah, awesome. But
Okay,
no,
yeah.
cool.
It was great. It was really good. We'll talk about it a little bit more later in the show. But yeah, we've had a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, it has been.
And we only got back late Sunday night,
Late Sunday, yeah, we got in like 10 o'clock or something.
and then went to an event last night, and it's just been all go, and even got here late for the podcast today. So yeah, sorry about that,
2
Jules.
minutes.
it was
Red carpet made up for it.
Oh, exactly.
we sit there, we go for lunch before we come to the studio. I'm like, we're doing really well for time. And something always goes to shit.
Just does. Like we were running 20 minutes early. Anyway. Anywho.
Yeah.
We're here.
We shouldn't say anything. We should just let it happen.
Yes.
Because I feel like when we say, we're doing really well, running really well on time, then
we
No,
jinx
you don't say it out
ourselves.
loud.
No.
You're not saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to
Interrupt. I'm happy to interrupt. I think we're both a bit out of it today, hey?
Let's start again. Would you like to introduce our guest?
I would like to introduce our guest. Hello, Jules. Hang on. Press the button.
Oh. The water cooler. The water cooler.
So the water cooler is our segment where we are just having a chat around the water cooler.
Love it.
Yeah.
And we interview cool people.
We interview cool people doing cool shit with their lives. And I can tell you something now, guys. This lady is doing incredible things and
Yes.
you want to hear her story. So this is Julie Lindsay. She is a 48-year-old mum of two. She was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer in April 2022. and was heading into her third bodybuilding show with the NBA in Brisbane. Following 9 months of chemotherapy and radiation, in January 2023, doctors discovered the cancer had also been in her liver the whole time. She's currently undergoing her second round of chemotherapy following a liver resection and gallbladder dissection in February of this year. She's extremely passionate about sharing her positive experiences and the impacts that weight training have had throughout her cancer journey, in the hope that her story inspires others to use exercise as medicine. And what an incredible journey it has been. So we are very, 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 very blessed to have our good friend Jules on the show now. And we met you in the gym a few years ago now.
I think it was before the third show.
Yes. Yeah. So looking very, very trim and buff at the time. Yeah. So, yes.
So just a correction, I must have written that wrong. So I had a liver resection, gallbladder removal, and lymph node dissection.
Yeah. Okay. Or I could have been reading it wrong also. So
yeah. So they took a section of the liver. Gallbladder was in the way, so they had to bin that. Yeah, I wish they hadn't, but they did.
Yeah.
And then the nodes, before going into the surgery, they did the scan and they were like, well, they're lighting up, which it's kind of weird to me that nowadays they don't know lighting up busy versus lighting up cancer.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they were like, if we were you, we'd get them taken out. And I'm like, okay. So they took them out and there was no cancer because the radiation had worked.
Okay.
But that's the swelling I've got now is from that procedure.
Yeah. Okay.
So part of me goes, kind of didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But then I also go, well, it gave me peace of mind that.
Exactly. And also it will prevent further issues in that area in future. So so that's, I guess, positives, negatives. It's one of those things you can't do anything about it now.
It's
so
done.
you just got to fucking get on with it. And
it sounds like, my limited experience, and I've got a few friends that have had different types of cancer, and it sounds like if they even suspect lymph node involvement at some point in any way, shape or form, they're just not even going to
play.
They're not even going to play. They're just going to go, let's yonk those out.
Because if we think about what that does, what the lymph system does, it just spreads.
Spreads it.
Absolutely.
And same with the liver. The liver is the transport system for a lot of cancers, apparently. So if it's in there, they're like, that's just going to spread. So let's get rid of it.
Fair enough.
And they don't do a lot of biopsies for liver cancer or cancers because it can spread it.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Why don't you just do a biopsy? Why are you taking a chunk of my liver in a major operation involving all these people and all this money? Just do a biopsy. And I'm like, that's just weird. Because if they stick it in, and then as they
remove it,
things move.
Things move. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, when you think about it. But wow. So for you at the start of your cancer journey, obviously you were at the height of your physical fitness. What were your initial symptoms? What made you think, okay, there's something not quite right here?
So it was tricky because I was in prep. So in prep, you're tired. You're tired. You kind of don't look as healthy as you normally look. People are looking at you going, you don't look great. I started like having little naps, but like not just little naps. I would be sitting there playing on my phone and just go like unable to stay awake. Oh, that's just prep. The main two things was really the lymph node swelling, which was probably as big as that is now. Like they really stuck out.
So in your lower abdomen?
Yes, it was just a bit further that way. And a change in bowel motions, some bleeding, but nothing like, and pain in the area. So because with my cancer, because cancers are all different, they're confusing and they're tricky, and I didn't know anyone really with cancer before I had it, so I had to learn as I went along as well. I technically have colon cancer, so which would normally present as a colon tumor in your colon. But instead, I had that tumor sort of go down and grow at the top of my rectum. And they see that like 1% ever.
Yeah, it's very rare.
So when they did the colonoscopy, the surgeon was like we found something and it's a tumor, but it doesn't actually make a lot of sense what we're looking at versus what we would normally see in that area.
Yeah.
So it was already 5 by 3 centimeters.
Okay.
In that area, which is a lot.
Yeah,
that
decent
area.
size.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was ulcerated.
Ouch. So
the pain.
Yeah, the pain must have been
horrendous. And I was going to the doctor all the time going, it's really painful.
Yeah.
And then I sort of just stopped being able to go to the toilet at one point.
God.
Which had never happened.
Yeah, and in itself, that whole situation of not being able to go to the toilet is just,
horrible.
It's awful. Yeah.
And so then we treated that, and then I was still going, my nodes are really swollen. She's like, oh, no family history, which now just doesn't even need to be considered. They shouldn't even ask that question anymore. No. And then so she felt it, and then her face dropped. I was like, I think I'm in trouble.
Shit. Shit.
So that was probably the major symptoms. I was thinking the other day as well, I used to bruise like a banana, like seriously, and I just don't bruise the same anymore. So it has to be related. That was probably something else. But bowel, colon, so hard to pick up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if your bowel motions change, people go, ate something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having enough water.
Yeah.
Whatever. And people bleed from that area and go, I've just cut myself.
Yes. Yeah.
And don't want to go to the doctor and don't want to be looked at in that area.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's, for a lot of people, so much embarrassment around it, which, at the end of the day, it's your health. Everybody has to shit. Everybody does. Like, everybody does
all
it.
The time.
Exactly. So why worry about that stuff? Especially if you're going to see a doctor, like they no shit's given by them.
Not at all. I think it's more people.
You're terrible.
Bum-de-bum, I know.
Oh my God.
I think the stories I hear is they go, even if they're young, and the doctors are like, it'll be IBS. It'll be whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's and I think that happens with medical professionals with a lot of illnesses. There's always an assumption that it's the least, it's the most common thing, the least worrying thing, and quite often it's not, and there needs to be more understanding and more curiosity from the doctors. Absolutely.
Sounds familiar to me.
I know it's familiar to me as well.
My kidney shut down in 2018, and I just kept going back to my doctor going, something's not right, we need to investigate this. And he's like, it's just a virus. Because it was the way it presented was really weird. I had a really bad cough that I couldn't get rid of. I was fatigued, and he was like, it's just a virus, it'll go eventually. But months later, and I was still, and it ended up being my kidneys had crapped out. So, I
think the scanning process is expensive.
Yes, exactly. So they'll do everything they can to try and avoid all the extra testing costs, and it's the same with anything. But quite often, and more often than not, they end up costing themselves more money in the long run because they're fighting something which is harder to treat.
I can't even imagine, like, if I lived in the States.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Absolutely.
What the bill would run at.
Yeah. Well, for me as a type 1 diabetic, we used to live in the States and had to leave because of the the health costs over there, and it's ridiculous and it's awful. And a single vial of insulin over there is like $3,000, and that lasts you a couple of days. So it's crazy to think how lucky we are in this country. We are
so lucky.
We are truly blessed. Same in the UK with the NHS, but at the same time, it does have its issues. I think I think often and not because of the costs involved in things. Things can take longer to be diagnosed and whatever for that reason. So
that's one of my biggest bugbears with our system, our health system, the way it is. At what point do we look at something and go, okay, we're saving money from testing and proactiveness, but we're spending a bucket load in treatment
at the other end.
At the other end.
Well, going back to the whole example of being type 1 diabetic, they will fund insulin pumps up to the age of 21, I think it is, but after that, you're back on injections again if you can't afford to pay for a pump yourself. And yes, a pump is $10,000 to $20,000. But if you look at the complications that type 1 diabetics have as a result of poor controlled blood sugars, there's young death, there is kidney issues, amputation. There is a whole list of problems that if we just had pump technology, which it controls your sugars much better by about 200%.
Yeah.
They'd save costs in the long run. Anyway, I digress. You have questions. You have many, many more questions.
I thought you were going to ask questions.
Oh, I can't bloody see them.
Oh, yeah, that's why I asked you.
You read the questions.
Oh my God.
You do the questions. You always do the questions. So you know how you were talking about bickering? Yeah. This is what we do.
Okay. So we, as we said, we met in the gym.
Yeah.
We did. So where did your love of health and fitness come from originally? Where'd that stem from?
I've just always been into it. I've always been good at sport.
Yeah.
Which, is obviously leads you to keep doing more and more sport.
Yep.
I was like a rep basketball player in high school.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then when I left high school, I went on to do, outrigger paddling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Grueling, but loved it.
Yeah.
I was an aerobics instructor. I was an aerobics instructor at school.
Cool.
Yeah, the other students, I used to take them.
That's really cool.
I love that. That's really cool. That is really cool. I love that.
I had a very good teacher. So from that, I just then went on to do like little triathlons or just always ran and then started weight training. I don't know, years ago. Always wanted to do bodybuilding and was always approached by like PTs in the gym and stuff because I have the right shape for a bigger competitor. Yeah. And nothing just ever sort of panned out. Like it was either because my daughter did swimming like at a high level for about, 6-7 years. So everything went into that at the time. So once she quit, I was like, okay, I got some time now.
Yeah.
And then started to really get into it. Then COVID hit and a few other things dragged it out. But then ended up doing my first show in 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So how many shows have you done altogether? 3. Yeah.
So before treatment started, I went into that show knowing I had cancer of some sort.
Yeah.
They alluded to it being lymphoma, which is incorrect, which I guess on initial swelling, blah, 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 kind of looked like that. So didn't know what treatment would look like. But the specialist, the hematologist at the time, he said it's going to take 4 weeks for a biopsy for the nodes.
Yes.
And I said, well, I have a show in 4 weeks. And he goes, do the show. He said, because then once you do your biopsy, you got to wait for the results.
Yeah.
And then treatment will start. And I go, because I was lined up to do ICN 2 weeks after that one. And then a week after do the other ICN. And I was so keen. I've never been on the ICN stage. And that was the goal. And I was like, again. Not doing ICN.
So for our listeners, what does ICN stand for?
I compete naturally. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's I remember us talking about a lot of this when you were going through all that, and you just looked incredible.
Oh, thank you.
I know you did, like muscles rippling or what.
I thought I looked terrible because you get the imposter syndrome happening.
Yeah. No, like from what you were trying to achieve. You looked wonderful.
Yeah.
You did. You looked really, really
You look
great.
across the gym and go, Julie's here.
I mean, to be honest, I always look at bodybuilding competitors and go, man, you need to eat something.
100%.
But you can, like, people with 0% body fat, and it's crazy to look at because you can see every single muscle there. Yeah. But you looked absolutely fantastic. There was a lot to be proud of. A lot of hard work went into that.
There was so much hard work. I had a nurse during my surgery, and he walked in and he looked at me. He goes, because I was like, after. Yeah. And he goes, you look familiar. I said, you look familiar too. And I kind of sized him up and I thought, okay, he goes to the gym. And I thought, I don't think he's a powerlifter. I go, did you used to go to EMF? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, now I know who you are. Yeah. And I said, I was about to compete. He goes, I remember. Oh.
So tell us a little bit about the diet, especially that you have to. I mean, it's pretty strict to be able to get your body weight, your body fat percentage right down, so that they can see all of your muscles properly, right?
Yeah. So I think that's a tricky question because everyone's different.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I was able to sit at a higher level of calories than a lot of other people.
That's good.
I'm now wondering if that's because I was riddled with cancer.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
yeah, makes sense.
Feed the beast sort of thing.
Because when I came off the comp and it was like just eat and eat what. No, and people do that. You shouldn't really do that, but I needed to do that because I was just getting skinnier and skinnier.
Yeah.
It did not matter what I ate. I could not put weight
the
on.
weight on. Yeah. So that makes sense with the whole cancer thing, doesn't it?
So my sister would make sausage rolls, and you can imagine, oh, they were so good. They were massive, and I had no appetite, but I would make myself try and eat it. We would put butter.
Oh, wow.
On top of these just fat-laden things. Yeah. And I was just losing weight.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but before that, because I did a show, I probably still had cancer at that point, didn't know as well, in 2021. But yeah, just a lot of high protein, high carb, low fat, boring.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I chose to do flexible dieting, which some people do that. Some people like their food written, you must eat 20 grams this. I don't like doing that. I like prepping food. I think it's all really boring. So I just go with flexible dieting.
Yeah. Cool. And so how much were you training? How many times a day?
So it depends. In the bulking phase, when you're going, I think it was like 5 to 6 times a week. And obviously my calories were way higher.
Yeah.
And then as you start to lose weight, you lose strength.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So you start dropping the intensity or the weight and you start going kind of higher reps. It's really about, people do it, if you can train through your low calories and still lift heavy, you're a legend.
Yeah.
You're doing well.
Yeah.
You're a legend. I mean, and it burns.
Yeah.
Like it, but I remember when I first started training outside of prep, because I've been in prep for so long, that I thought I wasn't training hard enough.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's not burning.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't it hurting? And then I thought, it was the lack of food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not good for your body.
It's so bad for your body.
Yeah. It's I think you see that a lot with people who've, been competitive around the bodybuilding circuit, is that their metabolism, once they stop training, just goes to shit, because they've had these yo-yo phases throughout their whole training days, and it's a bit of a bugger, really.
I think if you manage it like sensibly and you have a good coach who believes in overall health and wellness, then that shouldn't really happen.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive foodie. Like, I love food, but I'm not food driven.
Yeah.
So I'm not someone that goes, the second I finish this, I'm having KFC. Yeah. I'm just not. I didn't want KFC. I think when I tried to have it, it made me feel sick anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting. Your batteries.
Oh, no.
Good job. So, obviously, massive on that scale. So, talk to us about the mindset, about your mindset and the mental challenges you faced.
Yeah, not just during the training and everything, but also to knowing that you had cancer, to kind of push through that. And also keep training and keep competing and keep doing the things that you're doing, because that takes a lot of mental fortitude. Yeah. Yeah.
I find it always hard to put into words, because it's just something I did.
You just did?
Yeah.
I just,
makes sense.
I didn't even for 1 second think, I won't compete now.
Yeah.
In my mind, I went, well, I don't know what's going to happen. What if they because the specialist had said, do the one in 4 weeks. Forget about anything after that. You're not going to be able to do it. I'm thinking, why? I get you have to have treatment.
Yeah.
But I had no clue really.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm well enough I'm still moving, enough to do the first show, and that's a gift.
Yeah.
To be able to compete. And I'm this close. It was like 4 weeks out or 6 weeks out, I think. And then when I found out, I was with my coach, and he was the first person I saw after I got off the phone. And he goes, well, are you still going to compete? And I went, yeah.
Fuck
and
yeah.
Goes, right answer.
Yeah.
So I think it's massively who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, which I surround myself with those people on the daily anyway.
Yeah.
So when it goes to shit, those same people have the same mindset.
Yeah.
It just redirects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always had people that just believe in me which is amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's super helpful.
Yeah.
When it bottoms out.
Yeah, because if there are people that have been part of your journey with you anyway, and they understand you and your mindset, but also share those same beliefs, they'll keep pushing you, and even if it's not a kind of pick you up and make you do things, it just more in the way that they act and the way that they do things as well. It rubs off on you, and
100%.
you act in the same way. So that's why it's so important to have such a good team of people around you at all times in any facet of your life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, it leads really, really well into my next question. So there you go. So we talk a lot about your circle and the people around you and all that. Talk about if you can just talk to us a little bit about the people you had around you at that time, and who they were and all that sort of thing.
So it was a mixed bag, especially the way people. So for a bit of a backstory for my own family. So I had a sister who passed away 3 years ago now, and she was the eldest. And when she was 9 months old, her and mum were hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah.
And so she came out. She was born healthy. She came out of the back of the. Back then you didn't wear seatbelts. So she came out of it, hit her head, and had an acquired brain injury.
Yeah. Okay.
So she had 24/7 care, from all of my memory.
Yeah.
So my childhood development was seeing someone who was significantly at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Who was just always happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Always happy.
Yeah.
That girl would drag herself around the floor to get what she needed to get.
Yeah.
I also had an uncle who was hit between two cars and lost his leg.
Yeah.
And you would just never, he would have been in so much pain, on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was so cool because he would just take his leg off and jump in the water with us and swim. At the same time, there's my sister in a little floaty. And So my whole childhood, we learnt, get on with it.
Yeah.
You just got to get on with it.
Yeah,
and people who faced adversity around us just got on with it.
Yeah.
And also got on with it with great humour. So in our family, we've always used lots of humour.
Isn't it funny? So many people say that who have had to show a lot of resilience in their lives. Usually humour comes into it. They've been surrounded by humour, or they have a humorous personality themselves. I think humour is a fantastic tool to
100%.
to motivate you and keep things going.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't feel it.
Not at all.
No, it's just it's how we deal with it.
100%.
Exactly.
An example would be the day my sister passed away because she died of pneumonia, and I got there after there was a heap. My whole family were there, and you can imagine it was like a scene of a movie. She was non-verbal, and she was on her side. She was shallow breathing and whatever. And I walked in, everyone just and everyone's crying. And I walked up to, she hadn't spoken, and I walked up and went, "How much attention do you need?"
How much attention do
Everyone
you
pissed
need?
themselves. And she actually spoke. She went, yeah. And everyone went, "Oh, she spoke."
Yeah, that's awesome. But it's true. You've got to, and we probably use humour at the most inappropriate times. But I think you've got to, because it's that ability to make yourself smile and make others smile can just really change a situation and change everything around. And it's good to bring that level of joy and happiness into your lives, even during the shit times.
Well, I figure, regardless of what's going on, I can have a fun time at ED. Legit.
Exactly.
Even if I'm dropped off by my sister, I go home, I'm going to be here for hours, whatever. I can have half they'll come into my space.
Yeah.
And the nurse will go, "I don't want to go back out there. Can I stay with you?" Might as well have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got to.
So at the time when I was diagnosed, it was largely my family. I had a partner at the time who I've now separated from, but I wouldn't say he used a lot of humour, but he used a lot of positivity.
Yeah.
Also an athlete, so a lot of that whole, "We got this, we'll do what needs to be done." But also they were all, I don't love being taken care of, and I don't like asking for help, but I've had to in this process. It's not really possible not to. But it's interesting how people show up for you or how they don't.
I think you get both ends of the spectrum when you're going through this kind of shit. Yeah.
So the ones that do turn up for you, I found it was so interesting the way in which they were able to or chose to turn up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I always said, because the ones that didn't, so one is my dad who didn't.
Yeah.
And when I talk about that, I'm like, he could have turned up however he needed to.
Yeah.
Like that could be time spent, that could be money, that could be organising appointments, whatever. Like there's a whole team here.
Yeah.
Choose whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was interesting because my sister during chemo, one of my other sisters, she'd come frantically clean because she didn't want to look at me.
Yeah, but she was doing something, and that's, you know, she was supporting you in the way that she felt. Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't want it. The first lots of chemo were way worse than this one's because I was actually so much sicker and I didn't want to eat at all. And I didn't really know how to manage what to eat with the treatment and stuff like I do now. And I just didn't want to eat. And she'd go, I'll get you, what do you want? And chemo makes me want sugar for some reason. And I go, just give me a donut. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I'll go get you a donut. She'd go down and get me a donut. She'd come back. I'd eat the donut and I go, oh, I should have gotten two. She'd go, I'll go get you another one.
Yeah.
That sounds like your kind of dream service.
Except the last time I was in hospital, I was in the cardiac ward. So, you know.
I've been up there.
Yeah. So,
They're nice up there.
They are. They're really good.
Because you can talk. Because a lot of people in there are old.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But, I didn't feel it's like, oh, I'll bring you up some KFC, I'll bring you up a donut, and I'm like, don't know I should be doing that in a cardiac ward where everyone around me's had heart attacks.
But saying that, when you were in the having your legs chopped off ward, I can't remember what ward you were in, but you had your legs chopped off. We organised a big box of donuts for you to come in, didn't we?
Yeah, that was cool. I ended up with a box of freaking
big, huge box
of.
But how annoying is the dinging up there?
Oh yeah.
Those whatever they're called, those heart monitors, because I had to have one for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got no sleep.
It's
up
enough
there.
to drive anyone crazy, hey.
And if it's not yours, it's somebody else.
100%. But I think if anyone has someone that they love that's going through cancer, I think the most important thing, actually really, really important that people overlook, is practical support.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, my sister, I would call, is my primary care at this point.
Yeah.
And she's getting tired. Because you go through obviously all the different treatments, but you don't bounce back. And say Sunday, even though I had a okay run with chemo, I was just not well all day. Like my stomach was bad, it was cramping and nothing was really working. So I was kind of laying around, and so she cooks and she cleans and she's not asking me to do any of that stuff. But then, the lawn needs to get done.
Yeah.
And then, everything costs money and I can't work.
Yeah.
So if that's like actually one of the most important things is that if you do know someone, and I'm not saying force it on them, but kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make them accept that help.
I would say no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Because you don't want to be a burden, and you don't. I can cope. I'll be all right. But quite often it really is that support, not just the emotional support, but the physical support that people can offer. Yeah.
Especially long term. Cancer goes on for ages.
Yes. Yeah.
Like last week, my ex-husband turned up and mowed the lawn.
Oh, good on him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We didn't even talk before this. Like it was on. We were in court.
Wow. But
in court.
Yeah.
And he's dropped food off. He's bringing lemons over because it's good for my liver.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Got me my daughter a bed.
It goes to show that people can show up even when there's a past, even when it's kind of, I think you just have to put those things by and say, you know what, the past is the past, and it's good to have that support network there.
It's a leveler.
Yeah,
it's also that I always say, when someone you love gets cancer, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, true that.
100%.
Any of the old broken relationships that you're piecing back together with super glue, you're like suffering through because you think you have to because they're family.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you go, see ya.
Yeah. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
If you cannot turn up for me when I may die,
then
let's face it.
Yeah, then you don't need to be in my life.
There's just no point to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's true. It's so
100%.
true.
Like, why are we playing?
Yeah, it's so true.
I always followed some of your journey on Facebook and whatnot. Your daughter too was just seemed to be, she was always around, and she was hospital appointments with you and all that sort of thing. And that's a huge thing for a young person as well.
So we are struggling now. She's struggling.
Yeah.
Her mental health has taken a huge hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're okay.
It's all good. Yeah.
You're all right.
She's my soft spot.
Yeah.
And we've all got them, and you know what? It's a big journey and a lot for anyone to go through. So
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Because she has seen me she showered me.
Yeah.
Like up at the hospital and stuff. She's had to shower me. We tried to, not like she doesn't want to be sheltered from it.
Yeah.
She's like, do not hide stuff from me. Do not lie to me. Do not whatever. But you kind of try and, shine it a bit more than sometimes it is. But horrible, just horrible.
It's tough for any family member to go through, but especially kids with parents like that. That must be a really really hard.
Especially because I'm her world.
Yeah.
It's not like we're super close.
Yeah.
So for her, she's just, and I talked to my psychologist about it and stuff, and she said for kids who go through it, and I've noticed she does this, they get really paranoid about their own health.
Yeah.
Because what used to be, a headache. Oh, it's a headache, whatever.
Yeah.
They start going, I've had a headache for 2 days.
What if it isn't just a headache? Yeah.
It could be this or it could be whatever. Yeah. But I think, like I said, we tried to, when I came out of surgery, because I deluded about that. I thought, I said to my sister before the surgery, just bring up my laptop in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll do my assignments. And she's like, yeah, okay. I woke up after the surgery and went, they told me, they warned me. They said, we can give you all the drugs in the world. You're going to feel it because it's your liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it, they don't really work on it. And I'm like, I'll be fine. Oh my God. So the first night I said to my sister, no one's coming up here.
Yeah.
My sister went, no. I went, nope. No one's coming up here. I said, maybe day 2. And even day 2, I was like, I still had these needles out my neck and everything was connected. It was just a write-off. And then day 3 or 4, my sister said, Lucy wants to come up. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So you're me in the bed. She walked in and she went.
And
she froze. And then she went. And I said, you do not have to stay. Do not do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Go downstairs and have whatever you need to eat or whatever. And she went, no, it's okay. And I went, no, do not feel bad. I don't. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Mummy's fine.
Yeah.
So, it's been, you'd have to talk to her. But, she literally messaged me this morning and said, you just have no idea how dark it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of just before I carry on with what I was going to say there, where are you at with your cancer journey now at this moment?
So I have chemo tomorrow, and then I have chemo in another 2 weeks, and then I go on on surveillance colorectal team. So are there any signs of cancer left? No.
They're just trying to make sure and so that's great news.
It's amazing because I didn't even imagine at the beginning that it would work. I just thought it worked.
Yeah.
So then as I've gone through the treatment, I've learnt people, I'll see, because you connect with others, and they're like, it's not reducing the tumour. I'm like, it doesn't always work for people. How torturous.
Yeah.
To go through all of that and
still not work.
And do PET scans and then have to wait and
Scanxiety.
Scanxiety. Yeah, exactly.
So at this point, they said to me in my last appointment that there was something in my lungs, but they went, don't even stress about it. Everyone's got those. And when we scan someone all the time, we just find everything that you're walking down the street. You'll be fine anyway. And they said my liver was still making some colours, but they went, you've just had surgery. So we're not too worried.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what happens if that comes back with anything on it.
Yeah.
But I don't think about that stuff.
No.
There's no point in thinking about the what ifs.
No.
You can't do anything about it. You just have to kind of roll with the punches and see what happens and then deal with the issues as they arise, or hopefully just celebrate when they don't. And celebrate the small wins, celebrate each little good piece of news you have
100%.
but deal with the issues as they arise, because thinking about it too much, it's not going to help anyone.
No.
Certainly not going to help you. It's not going to help your family and not going to help the people that care about you. So you may as well do everything you can just to deal with the good shit.
Yeah.
Just, and that's, pretty much the way I deal with my health stuff as well, because
what choice you got?
Yeah, you don't have any other or give up.
No, you do. People have a choice, and I see them make choices where they sink into it, and I'm like, oh, that looks like a really long road out of that sinking.
Yeah.
Because they just get all up in their head.
Yep.
And they become the diagnosis, they become the disability, the disease, the whatever. Yeah. And I get it. I get how easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's easier to allow yourself to get into that position. So much easier. Yeah. It's easy to let the darkness take over, because it doesn't matter how strong and resilient you are. We all have those shitty thoughts.
Of course.
We're human. Everybody's human. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of fear out there for anyone who's going through a big battle such as this. But at the end of the day, if you allow yourself to be in that dark place for too long, you will suffer. The people around you will suffer, and if you are facing a terminal diagnosis, then you're not going to enjoy what time you've got left.
100%.
So choose life, choose enjoyment, choose happiness, make that choice.
But even if you get a terminal diagnosis nowadays, it doesn't mean
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Things can happen. I was told I'd have 5 years, and 15 years later, I'm still here, and I'm probably kind of healthier than I've been in a very, very, very long time. So I think you got to take that stuff with a
100%
pinch of salt and a grain of salt, and just say, do you know what?
Yeah, which is why I didn't want to know what stage I was really.
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of irrelevant, and also because mine was not normal. I think if you took that colon tumor and put it in my colon, I'd be like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, but then it changes it. So it's like, I'm like, I don't really want to know. Like, I really just tell me what treatment I need to have, then I'll go from there. Yeah. Like, rather than getting all caught up in even time frames. Like, if he had said to me, the specialist had said, oh, you need palliative care, that's a whole different thing.
Yes.
But as soon as they went, and it's so important, the health professionals around you, how they're responding. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like when they're like, well, we're going to do this. If they're all like, no, looking at the ground.
Yes.
Like, why does he look so worried? Yes. I need to be more worried.
I think having a good medical team around you can really make all the difference.
And it's like, it's weird to say I'm grateful, but if you have cancer and you get cancer treatment in a good hospital like the Gold Coast University Hospital, you're prioritised. If I turn up to the ED and go, I've got a temperature, I'm in that waiting room for 5 to 8 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And then they shuffle me out the back into my own room with the door shut.
Yes.
And I get literally top-notch care. There would be other diseases that have just as much impact on your body that are horrible, that aren't cancer.
Yeah.
Those people don't get the same.
It's true.
They wait for years and they're in pain and they're uncomfortable and whatever. And I'm like, it's shit to have cancer. No one wants it.
Yeah.
But I got to say, things happen fast.
Yes, which is good.
Yeah. And you just get the most incredible, fast, rapid treatment because they don't want it spreading.
Yeah.
But again, there's people with diseases that, they're bed bound and stuff, and people aren't racing to get their treatment done for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies in medicine, unfortunately. But yeah.
So, last couple of questions. What's your proudest moment so far?
In terms of all this?
In anything?
In terms of anything, what would you say? Like, I know for myself, I tend to pick something that actually ends up being medical rather than a lot of people would expect me to say, Queensland record holder or whatever. I'm like, that's cool stuff. But for me, like my proudest moment is actually being able to sit up unaided after being paralyzed from the neck down for 7 months. But so everybody's got different things that they're proud of. We want to know what that is for you.
Probably the way I've conducted myself throughout this.
Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
And I agree. Just
awesome.
From an outsider looking in, you've done amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Smashed it.
Yeah.
And the impact that's had on other people that I didn't ever anticipate would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of the messaging I get and the people saying I got out of bed because of you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
But really?
Yeah. And that's I think quite often it's from being open about your journey and what you go through. I mean, we get we get similar things all the time. Yeah. And whilst we don't ever want to be, an inspiration.
It's a bit cringy.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, to know that you've actually made a difference in someone's life and made an impact that's actually seriously made a difference for them, and it's a good feeling. It is. Yeah.
It's also given me so much gratitude. I mean, I was a grateful person before. I've never not lived with gratitude.
Yeah.
But like, it's just gone up like 1,000,000%. Having this happen, because, and it's interesting now when I look at other people's lives, I'm like, why don't you just whatever it is, I'm thinking, why don't you just ask the girl out, go get the new job, go do whatever it is, like time's ticking. It's not. They're like, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, that can wait. Actually, it can't.
Exactly, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
And it made me proud too I remember sitting with the specialist when they said, this is going to sound so bad, when they said, it was stage 4. And the first thing I thought of, and this is not about him, but I thought, God, I'm glad I got divorced. Because once I divorced him, and it was a wonderful marriage for a very long time, but I outgrew him.
Yeah.
A lot of people stay. And I just went, for me to grow and turn into who I need to be, I can't do it in this marriage. No matter how we look at it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So when I left him, I did all the things that I've done in the last, since 2016. And I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
So I didn't go home going, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And making that choice for yourself has probably led to you being as, the person that you are today, which has allowed you to get through this journey in the way that you have. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you have a bucket list? And if so, what's at the top of it?
So there's travel.
Travel? Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have a place specifically that you want to go to?
So I have a friend who I've been has the same cancer, gone through the exact same journey. She's still doing it, so am I, and she's in the States.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's going to come here.
Cool.
Then I'm going to go there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Whereabouts in the States?
She is in, I should know that answer. She's going to watch this. Sorry, Emily. Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. My favourite place.
Yeah.
I love Georgia.
I think. Sorry. I think it's Georgia. And then we said this morning that we'd then, after that, go to Bali together.
I love that.
Awesome.
Cool.
There you
Excellent.
go. That sounds like good plans to me.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Last question. So what's next for Julie Lindsay? What's coming up?
I'm in a bit of a not sure phase.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm going to wait and see how I feel after chemo. I'm not even really thinking about work yet. I'm going to have to work somewhere at some point. But I don't even want to go for jobs yet until those scans are done.
Yeah.
Because once the scan, I don't want to start up something. And I don't want to go for an interview and go, I'm on chemo.
Yeah.
Yes. So although I did my PT stuff, I'm not sure if I want to do that either.
Yeah.
Because when I started it, I was a different person to
Different person to you.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know work-wise what I kind of want to spend the next few years doing whatever I want to do.
Why the hell not? You've got a second chance at life. Just frigging go out there and do whatever the hell you want. Embrace it.
And a lot of people with stage 4 get reoccurrence.
Yeah.
So not that I'm putting that out there, but I'm being realistic that I'm going to be pretty annoyed if in 2 years something comes back and I didn't do
and you didn't do stuff and you didn't make the most of
I went
every
and got
chance.
a job somewhere that's whatever.
Yeah.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So just whatever I kind of want to do is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a bloody good plan too.
Damn straight.
Love
Absolutely.
it.
I'm not stressing myself about going and get a new house and I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Your priorities change with things like
so
this.
I'm going to do another show.
Yeah.
I'm going to do another show. I've got a new coach.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah. And someone who has, she's a nurse.
Yeah.
As well as has the health sciences stuff and all the things that I need.
Yep.
Because I can't just have
Yeah.
I don't care how much experience you've got. There's a lot going on in here.
Yes, exactly. So you want someone that's kind of gets from a holistic approach. Yeah, everything.
The whole lot.
Yeah. Awesome.
And because I've got some left leg lymphedema still, a little bit, that I wouldn't be ready for stage super early on. So if that kind of doesn't pan out, if this takes forever to go down and this is taking ages, I might do a novice powerlifting comp.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Because the gym I'm at is powerlifting. And they're all like, when are you going to do it? They would all be there with banners.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, well, let us know if you end up doing that. We'll come along and support.
Absolutely. The Two Crips team will come and check it out for sure. Yeah, awesome.
I'm lifting 30 kilos.
Woo-hoo. Love it.
Thanks so much for joining us. This has been great.
Yeah. Thank you, Jules.
It's really good to have you in the studio and have a chat.
Yes, it's good to have you on. We'll catch up with your journey a little bit further on when when you decide to do the comp and everything, and we'll get you back on the show and talk about that a little bit and just see how you're going with things.
And I'll be cancer free.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
We'll celebrate with you. We'll have the show, a couple of drinks on tap, and we'll have a celebratory drink with you.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's on.
All right. Thank you for coming in.
Check your bells.
Yes, everybody do it.
Toilet, go to the GP, push the GP. If you don't like what they're saying, go to another GP.
Yep.
Hashtag never too young.
Yeah, 100%. Plenty. I have a friend that I went to school with at he would have been 15, got diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer, and luckily he survived through it. But my God, he had a tough journey, and it's just. But yes, age is not as important a factor as people think it is.
No.
Yeah.
Push and push.
Yep, exactly.
Talk until you listen to.
Yep, 100%.
Definitely.
Yep. And we're back.
We're back.
Hi
everybody watching on the live. You've been staying with us.
Yes. I'm going to hit the button.
Oh, go on, do it.
Like two cripples using a beach towel to skydive. This could go anywhere. Welcome to the soapbox session. Did you like that one, Jules?
So we've still got Jules sat here listening in for the last part of the show.
She's decided to hang out with us.
So yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, hey.
Hey. So as we talked about at the beginning, we were in Cairns over the weekend. We got there on Thursday.
We did.
And came back after the race on Sunday.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was great. And we had this conversation. It's random the conversations you have with airline staff on the when you
on the 6 million hours that they keep you sitting on the plane waiting around for. Yeah. Yes.
For as long as I've been flying, and I've been flying a long time, they have this. It's like a room on the end of a forklift that takes you up.
A room. It's only just big enough for a wheelchair plus a person.
Okay, it's a room for you then. It's room for.
It's a small person's room.
It's a little people's room. It's this little thing, and you go on this forklift, and they lift you up, and then they put you on the plane, and it's always been, as far as I know, it's always been referred to as a DPL, which is a disabled person's lift.
Yes.
And we were getting off the plane the other day, and I said, I was saying that when we arrived in Cairns on Thursday, the DPL that they had for us to get off the plane, apparently they're solar powered. Who would have thunk it?
I know. This thing is the only way of us getting onto the plane for people in wheelchairs to get onto the plane, and it's solar fucking powered.
We arrived in
ridiculous.
Arrived in Cairns. It was pissing rain,
and it's for some reason the solar powered thing ain't working.
The solar powered DPL wasn't working. So anyway, and so they got another one, and we got off the plane, and it was all good. But I was explaining to the lady from the airline the other day when we got off the plane in on the Gold Coast, and she goes, "Oh, we don't use DPL anymore." And I said, "What do you mean you don't use DPL? It's been DPL for as long." And she goes, "Oh no,
person's lift forever."
No, she's like, it's a pad now. We call it a pad, personal assistance device.
Oh God. Yeah, so we're like, okay, enough of this fluffed up bullshit. For God's sake, what is wrong with the word disabled? What is wrong with the word disability? For fuck's sake, come on.
If you follow me on my socials, I particularly on Instagram, LinkedIn, and I think on Facebook, I had a rant about this a few weeks ago, actually. But yeah, man, it's a personal assistance device.
Look, I'm sorry, but that doesn't really describe what it is in any way, shape or form. A disabled person's lift describes exactly what it is. Why do people constantly feel the need to change the names and wording used for things? There is nothing wrong with pointing out the obvious. if it's a lift made for people with disabilities, there is nothing wrong with saying a disabled person's lift.
Exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with that?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I get so frustrated with this. It's like your post the other day, we constantly talk about this. People saying to us, "Oh, so what's your superpower?" And I don't have a fucking superpower. I have a disability. You as you said, you're not shooting lasers out of your ass anytime soon.
It doesn't happen. As much as I'd like it to, it doesn't happen. Like, I think it's the do-gooders of the world trying to make things sound better and fluff things. Yeah.
And yes, there's a place for political correctness to a certain extent, but it's just going too far. Come on, there's nothing offensive about saying disabled person's lift. What? I don't get it.
I think people are uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So many
things to do with disabilities, they just go, "Oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, don't want to do the wrong thing," so they fluff it.
But I find that far more offensive. That it's basically people allowing their unconscious biases and their little prejudices that they don't even realise they have to guide them with what they think that people with disabilities or disabled people want, and we just want to be treated like everybody else. So there's nothing wrong. Yes, there are some people with disabilities that are offended by the word disability and disabled and don't identify with having a disability, but quite often they're being guided by their own internal ableism.
I love the fact that it's an airline that's chosen to call it a pad instead of a DPL because of political correctness.
That sounds horrendous.
But this airline,
but this airline, you can't if you're a person with a disability. Hello.
Oh. Okay, well that was a bit weird.
Right.
My phone is on silent, but it just rang through the earphones on the show. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's weird. Anyway, okay, cool.
But if you're a person with disability on a flight, you can't go to the toilet because they don't have aisle chairs on the plane to go to the toilet.
Yeah. So on the way to Cairns, we were waiting on the tarmac for what?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. No, on the way there, we were waiting. It took about 50 minutes. Then we were on the plane for 2.5 hours. And then to get off, it was another 50 minutes the other end. I was busting before I even got on the plane. Oh. So I was sick. I was really unwell by the time we actually got the chance. And then on top of that, at the Cairns airport, they didn't have our day chairs available for quite some time. So we were just stuck in the aisle chairs, the patient. the transfer chairs, so we weren't able to get ourselves to the bathroom or anything. So it made me incredibly sick. I was getting shaky.
And meanwhile I'm sitting there going, "Get her off the plane. She's gonna pee herself next to me." And
but I think what they don't understand is they think it's literally just a case of you might pee yourself. They don't get that actually for paraplegics and quadriplegics, it can actually be a deadly situation.
It can be fatal,
It can, because it makes your blood pressure rise quickly.
Do you not find people in general struggle with how to deal with people with disabilities?
Yeah,
sometimes. Like it's definitely getting better, and there's been a lot of improvement, but there's still things like that where needs haven't been taken into consideration properly, and then there's so much discomfort around that for that reason, that they kind of feel like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do now? But it's a tough one.
I was at the hospital in a wheelchair because I'd had radiation, and I was at the point where I couldn't walk because of the blistering. And it was a long trip from radiation down to the chemist, and I was with my partner at the time, and he was at the ward, he was pushing the chair, and we got there, we handed the script in, and my boyfriend handed the script in, and the lady looked at me with my script, then looked at him, and they go, "Has she had this before?"
We get that all the time, because you're in a wheelchair, you can't possibly speak for yourself.
Ask her.
I get because Christy, my wife's able-bodied, and we get that all the time.
I can imagine.
We'll go out for dinner, and it'll be like, "Oh, what would he like for dinner?" And I was like, "No, I shit you not." No, and then it'll happen.
It happens when we go out together, because obviously we're both the same. Adam every time they always go to the man first.
We were at an electronics store, which I won't mention, good few years ago now, because you needed a new computer screen.
Yes.
And And like this guy was like, I was like, oh, it's for her, and
I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, you're asking, and then he's looking at me, talking to me about it. I'm like, mate, I don't know shit about this. You need to be talking to her.
And I'm not backwards in coming forwards, and
like
I'm just like, for fuck's sake, I'm here. Talk to me. I'm here. But yeah, it's I laughed crazy
because I went, that is
it's outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's crazy how it's. But once again, people aren't doing it on purpose. They're not doing it to be offensive. They don't realise. No. They don't realise that they're doing it. But yeah, it's crazy that it still happens this day and age. But,
I've even worked with non-verbal people, like zero ability to communicate, no blinking, no anything, and I'm doing an assessment on that person's living situation or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would always address the conversation to the person.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I used to think, imagine if that was me and I'm laying there going, I'm here. Why isn't she talking to me?
Yeah.
I've had parents go, that he doesn't understand what you're saying.
Wow. And that's another thing.
Keep talking to him.
I think that's it. It must important. Be so hard for somebody who is non-verbal because more often than not they mentally they understand exactly everything that's going on. They just can't speak to communicate what they want to say, and I think that would drive me up the bloody wall because it's those other people's assumptions that you're not intelligent when you bloody are. It's fucking people. Open your eyes to the wider world.
Or put yourself in the person's shoes.
Exactly.
So if you were unable to speak, does that mean that you necessarily wouldn't be able to think? No. And even if that person, because my sister would look like she didn't, have the ability to speak or whatever, but you could say, Lisa, pick the glass up. She picked the glass up.
Yeah. Follow instructions. Yeah.
What chocolate do you want? She'd know it straight away.
Yeah. Oh, I bet I'd know that too.
Yeah. Oh dear. But fun times.
Fun times. What? Being stuck at the airport and not being able to get off the plane, or
all of the above.
Yeah.
So I remember back in the day, I used to spend a lot of time in Sydney. Like once or twice a month, I'd be in Sydney for camps or competition or something like that. But
show off.
Old days in Sydney Airport, you'd be there like this is before cabin crew cleaned the plane. You'd have cleaners like vacuum the floor under your feet and because you were still on the plane an hour after it landed, like at least waiting for someone to come in. Waiting for somebody with an wheelchair.
Yeah, you still get that now though, don't you?
Yeah,
it's
not as bad as it used to be.
It doesn't happen as often, but certain airlines like the ones we flew on to Cairns, Jetstar, not saying anything. Meh. Jetstar, we've had issues with these guys. Anyway.
Jetstar.
Yeah, I guess anyway. By the way, Jetstar, I'm going to call you out. I'm sorry. I'm done with being quiet about this. But we were told by certain people who are in the know with this stuff that Jetstar used to have aisle chairs available on their planes, on their smaller aircraft.
Yep.
However, they choose not to anymore. So please explain to us people with disabilities and the families of those people and the people that love and care about them and travel with them, why on earth it is okay to take away our ability to go to the fucking toilet.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm sorry. Not okay. I'm sorry. I'm calling you out. It's not okay. Anyway, sorry. We'll deal with this.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not. I'm angry. I'm really fucking angry about it.
I can see the steam coming out through your headphones.
I don't know why they feel they have the right to do that.
Yeah.
And it's a money decision, and it's fucking disgusting that you're putting very, very, very small financial gain over the top of the right of people to toilet.
And the safety. It's a safety thing, you know.
Like I when I had to drag myself down to the toilet the last Jetstar flight we did, I ended up with cuts on my hands and having to crawl through pee at the bottom of the toilet in order to be able to go. And that shouldn't happen to anyone. And I'm one of the lucky ones because I have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Many do not.
Correct.
And once again, with autonomic dysreflexia and other issues for people with paraplegia and quadriplegia, you are putting people's lives at risk. So
100%.
Sort yourselves out. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's disgusting. Anyway, sorry.
Should we move on?
I'm done with my rant.
All right, cool. I think
I got a bit serious then. I'm sorry.
No,
but yeah,
serious.
It just drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done with that bit.
GPLs versus pads.
Yeah, I went off on like pad thai.
Yeah. Who's coming for Thai after this?
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. I'm on. I know a good Thai restaurant.
Sounds good.
Madra Bar.
Okay, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
we'll do it.
we were. We're gonna do it. All right. Actually, I had beef rendang for lunch.
You did, and it was bloody good.
Yeah, so
You
good.
can't have any of that on chemo. Even like the slightest bit of curry because it's just your stomach can't handle it.
Yeah.
I miss it so much.
Yeah.
All right, when this is all...
yeah.
this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're doing.
celebration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
All right, where are we off to next?
Sorry, that's my stomach.
The kindness virus.
The kindness virus.
Yes, good job. Are you making fun of me?
I would never make fun of you.
I do it. So the kindness virus.
Oh my God.
Anyway, final segment of the show today.
So
the kindness virus.
So the kindness virus is where we shout out to people who do, or organisations who do cool things, have caught our eye, and it's a bit of a feel-good sort of.
Yeah. Because the rest of the show we just rant, so we've got to kind of finish it off with something a bit nice.
Try and round it off with some feel-good stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, but this kindness virus is all about. So when once again it's about kids, it's kind of like the Cairns special. This one.
Yes, it is.
We were. If you've ever seen something funny, it's me trying to push a luggage trolley while pushing a wheelchair with two big clothing bags plus a racing wheelchair and a wheel bag on this trolley.
Okay, so my racing wheelchair, which is about 1.7 meters long, has to be stood upright on its end, and it's all packaged up in a box, which looks, sometimes looks a little bit like a coffin. Not so much at the moment because we've had to change it, but yes, and that is. And you're about 30 centimetres tall, so basically...
Hey, I'm taller than you now. Don't start.
No. You have got a bigger chair than me. You have not suddenly grown 6 foot.
That means I still sit taller than you, which means I am taller than you.
Okay, sure. You tell yourself that, love.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have the racing wheelchair up on its end. Then there's a big wide wheel box because they're 27-inch wheels on the racing chair. So basically, anyone who is in front of you just sees a trolley with nothing pushing it.
It's kind of like a trolley moving itself because they can't see the.
Because they can't see because Adam's so tiny. They can't see him sat behind it, and it's a funny thing to watch people be like, "Oh shit, what the fuck's going on?" and not realize
you
that
called
you're
me
pushing.
Tiny. Thank you.
You are teeny tiny.
Oh.
You're kind of pint sized.
Pint sized, Adam.
In a square kind of
eco-friendly Adam. But so I've got this trolley and if you've ever gone to a check-in at an airport, and most people have, you sort of it's like a maze. You've got to weave in and out of these, the tape barrier thing to get to. So I'm doing this. I'm like, trying not to hit people, and
they're very narrow kind of cordoned off.
I gotta say, I was impressed with my skills.
I've got to tell you, you did well. I didn't see you knock anyone over. I didn't see you fall out your chair. I didn't see you drop anything off the trolleys. It was bloody good going.
Boys got skills. Yeah. And anyway, so this lady, we got to the end of the line, and this lady motions. She goes, "Come in here," and I said, "No." I said, I'm not about taking the piss. I don't want to,
push in front of
other people, and there was 6 million other people, and we were there way early.
But the queue was still long.
When we joined the queue, they hadn't even opened out the check-in for our flight yet. We were only about 5 minutes off, and I said, no, it's fine. And anyway, so
you've gone down a few more,
and then these people go, come in here, and we must have skipped 60 people.
But it wasn't the thing that was nice about all these people offering to let us in is there wasn't a single person in that queue that didn't say to us, "No, go ahead, go in front of us." And I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
Really?
Usually when we're going down, weaving in and out of things at the airport, everybody's so rushed to get to their flight, and they don't care. They're just like, they ignore the people that are clearly struggling. And we don't like to take the piss with that stuff, and quite often we'll get led to the front of the queue for so many different things, and we're like, well, no, we're quite capable of waiting. They're the same as anyone else. We've got seats. We're comfortable. We're comfy. We don't mind doing it. However, on this occasion, it is hard to get through those cordons and barriers and bloody maze type queuing things.
Yeah. So they a second person's like, come in here, and I'm like, no, come in here, and a few other people like, no, do it. So I did it anyway, and it meant that we weren't sitting in the queue for a long period of time,
and it meant you didn't have to go through a million more bloody corners around all the
my cornering game was strong, but
I reckon the only reason they let us do that is because they were scared you were going to knock someone over
probably
with that exactly. But anyway, we want to thank those guys that allowed us to do that, and every person in that queue that didn't complain about us going ahead of you, which quite often happens. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
I can't believe someone would complain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, someone's always going to complain about
exactly.
something.
Yeah, it's an airport and people running late.
People are stressed.
People have the shits.
A lot of stress. It's just happens.
Can I ask, generally, do you find it irritating, offensive, or helpful if people jump in to help when you may not really need it?
We don't mind people asking us if we need help, but people that jump in and try to take over, it more often than not ends up being detrimental to the way we do things.
Sometimes it can make it harder for us. I mean, if I got a bag on a trolley and I drop the bag off the trolley and they help, that's great. But if somebody just comes in, barges in, grab the trolley sometimes it actually, if I'm getting my chair out of the car as an example, and somebody just walks up and grabs a chair and tries to tell me, it's actually it screws with my flow because I've got a way I do things.
There's certain ways that we need to sort of stack things or do things or put things in the car, whatever it is, and so that we can do things the way we need to do it, so that we can access them. And unfortunately, when somebody takes over, it means that they're preventing us from being able to do what we need to do the other end. So it often happens, somebody will come up and just see you pushing up a hill and just come up and start pushing you in your chair, and then they start catching your front wheels on every crack and almost tip you out of the chair. And it's thank you for the help, we appreciate it, but at the same time, ask first, so that
it could frighten you too. Like if someone comes out of nowhere.
Sometimes it can be a pain in the ass. But we understand that people are doing it to be genuine and kind and helpful. However, just ask. If we need help, we'll say yes, brilliant, thank you. And if we say no, please don't be offended that we're saying no. There will be a reason why we're saying no.
It's important for people to know what you just said.
And I do feel, because some people you say, oh no, thank you, I'm good, and some people automatically get offended when you say no, and that's not what we want, because we want people to feel comfortable in asking if we need a hand, but sometimes it's just easier if we do things for ourselves. So
absolutely
cool.
Hey, is that the whole show today?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway, I feel like we're going a bit stir crazy, and we've probably been on the air a bit long. So
we need to get out of here.
We do.
Yeah. All right. So if you like what you heard today, if you want to follow us, jump on Instagram, Facebook. Where else are we? No, that's it. That's it.
I'm Queen Leo 74.
And follow this young lady.
Follow young Julie here. She's Queen Leo 74 on Instagram. Yeah.
Excellent.
And yes, you can find us on Instagram. For God's sake. You can find us at 2 Crips, 1 pair of legs, .1 pair of legs on Instagram.
Careful, you're going to get us banned again.
Shh. 2 Crips .1. You got us banned. What are you talking about? It was my account, but you did the dirty work.
Well, it's not my fault that you linked your bloody Facebook account to the...
That's all right. I'm happy to link yours to it. You can do all the work.
Sure.
Saucer and milk table 1. And you can find us on Facebook at 2 Cripples, 1 Pair of Legs podcast.
Excellent. Until next time.
See ya.
Peace.
I knew you were going to do that. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode of 2 Cripples, 1 Pair of Legs. As always, we'd like to thank our studio guests for joining us, and of course to the legends at Podfire for making all of this come to life. If you like what you've heard, or even if we've offended the shit out of you, but you still want to hear more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also check out our Insta page, 2crips.1pairoflegs, and you'll be the first to know when a new episode drops.